Hi, I'm Jay. I'm here with you today with a gallon of oil. We're going to be talking about how to change oil in your vehicle.
So all you're really going to need for this is a wrench set, your oil, chocks, a ways to raise your vehicle and keep it raised, rubber gloves, a large funnel, and something to hold your oil. Okay, so the first thing that you're really going to need to do is take whatever it is that you have to raise your car. Go ahead and take those and set those up, but please make sure that they actually line up with your wheels. So the next thing that you're going to definitely have to do is get your car to raise up on whatever it is that you have raising your vehicle. Be careful when you do this step because you have to make sure it's lined up correctly, and you really don't want your car falling over or going down a hill or anything like that. That's not good. Also, make sure to turn your car off and put it in park. So next step is going underneath your car and going ahead and loosening up the nut that is on your that's on your oil drum thing. No, I know what that's called. But go ahead and loosen up the bolt and be careful when you do this because sometimes the oil will just want to just spray out all over the place, which that's definitely not something you want to happen. You want to make sure that you do it very slowly. And something that might actually help is if you use your wrench and go ahead and loosen that, and then use your hands to go ahead and kind of loosen it up a little bit more. But hold on to the nut that you're using, and basically just go ahead and use that and twist it open. And then pretty much after a while, it'll just become very loose. And then once you release it, the oil will just spill out. Make sure that your oil catch pan is close to where the oil is going to come out of, because you got to make sure that's aimed up right, or else it's just going to fly all over the place and you're going to have a hot mess. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and go back up to the top, and this is where we're going to go and change the filter as well as change the oil. Okay, so next you're going to want to go ahead and, by using a wrench, you can go ahead and actually loosen up your cap for your engine filter, or oil filter, sorry. And go ahead and just twist that around a little bit, and then next up you could probably go ahead and just use your hands and loosen up this to get it off. And you're going to definitely want to have a towel for this next step, because basically what's going to happen is that you're going to lift it up and it's just going to drip so much oil it's ridiculous. So go ahead and make sure you have a towel handy, and let's just let that drip, and try not to get any on the car, because if you do, it's not going to be pretty, and you're going to have a lot of cleaning up to do, and cleaning up oil is not easy. So next up, you guys have to go ahead and smother the old filter in a towel of some kind, and go ahead and carefully pull that off the actual cap. And then next up, go ahead and grab your new filter. Make sure it's out of its packaging, and make sure there's no dust or debris or anything on it, because if there is, it's going to really mess with it. And go ahead and just take a look at it, and make sure it's nice and clean. And then you can go ahead and just slip it right back onto the actual cap. It should just slip right on there. If it doesn't, and it's probably not the right filter then. So go ahead and do that, and look at all the gaskets. You can change these later. And go ahead and just twist it right back on with your hands. Make sure it's pseudo tight, kind of. And then go ahead and use your wrench to tighten it down further. And this is pretty much it for your filter. And just go ahead and make sure you also wipe down the area. If there's any little bits of oil that might be there, you definitely want to get rid of those, because it can possibly set your engine on fire, which is not
Make
fun.
sure there's no sand or dirt in it, because it's new oil going into the vehicle. Housing, and it locks in place. I just set the filter there. And this vehicle, according to the owner's manual specifications, requires SAE 5W30, and I'm using full synthetic motor oil, so it's non-petroleum, man-made synthetic. I usually wipe off the bottle and make sure there's no sand that may fall into the oil fill opening when I twist.
So once all that's all done and you got everything nice and wiped down, you have your funnel all ready and set to go inside your engine, go ahead and carefully pour the oil into it. This you got to be really careful with, because again, same thing, you don't want oil getting all over the car. And make sure you actually hold the funnel up a little bit, because if you actually don't, it'll cause it to pool. And basically what'll happen is the oil will just might spill over, and it won't actually go inside of your vehicle the way it is supposed to. So watch out for that.
and these pins line up to the grooves there.
Okay, now the story of the hour. What to do with your leftover oil. There are federal guidelines, and I think every state is different, but they all have federal guidelines that you have to follow. So basically what we're going to do here is go ahead and put the leftover oil that we have and go ahead and put it right back inside of the canister that the new oil came out of. So we're going to go ahead and just let that go ahead and pour right in there. Just, let it just drip on in there. No, I do not talk like that. But you also be careful, same thing, you don't really want any oil to get onto your ground, but since this is on a dirt area, it's easy to get rid of because you can just take the dirt, just scoop it up and get rid of it, so it's really not a big deal. But all in all, though, be careful with this oil pouring because we all know how oil is, and it's really a pain, and ugh. So try to get it all inside of the actual canister, and everything will go way smoother if you do it that way.
Okay, now we've got the oil drained, new filter in, new oil in the vehicle. We've safely disposed of our old motor oil. Now we're going to shut the hood. I usually just shut it part way because we're going to, after we start the engine, check the oil again. And I'm going to hop in the car and slowly drive off the ramp. Now we open the hood back up after we're off the ramps. And on this particular vehicle, this is the oil dipstick, which allows us to check the oil level in the pan. We do this with the engine off. I usually pull it out the first time, wipe it off, make sure there's no oil that's drained up in the tube from when the engine was running. Let it sit in there for a couple of seconds. Pull it out, and this particular dipstick is pretty easy to read. You can see the shiny section where the oil level is, and you can see the notches in the dipstick that show high level mark and minimum level mark. So this is the maximum, and this is the minimal amount of oil that we'd want in the vehicle. So the mark is here, so it's right at the full level mark. And we're ready to go for a ride.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything like that, go ahead and feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you guys want to see any more videos in the future. And also, if you'd like to, go ahead and check out more of our videos soon to come.